So in the early 1950s, running a mile in under 4 minutes was thought to be impossible, and doctors actually said that you could harm yourself or even die if you were to get this feat or to accomplish it. That is until a dude named Roger Bannister, a British medical student, on May 6th, 1954, ran a mile in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. And the craziest part was that just 2 months later, and up until that point, no one had ever done this. Just 2 months after he was the first one to do it, another runner broke the barrier. And soon after that, dozens more did the same. So this Roger Bannister didn't just break this record, he shattered a belief that it couldn't be done. And reflecting on this, he said it's the brain, not the heart or lungs, that is the critical organ. And I just want to share that because it just shows how powerful our beliefs are and how they can influence, our thoughts and feelings and ultimately what is possible for ourselves. And I just want to give a little example on how beliefs can have a cascading ripple effect and possibly change the direction or the trajectory of a person's life. So just for hypothetical, say there's a kid, maybe 16, 17 years old, and they don't think they're very good at school. Maybe they haven't gotten good grades or had good role models, and they just have that belief through self-doubt and maybe through others that school's not for me, I'm not smart, and I can't do anything. Maybe they don't think they're good at anything. And so once they graduate, if they graduate, they don't go to college. They, maybe do not want to join the military. They don't learn a trade, and they just take a menial job maybe that's below their potential. And years go by, and they just think of themselves more and more deeply ingrained because beliefs are strengthened through repetition and time that they're just not that good. And they can see themselves from a lower place and just view themselves as not being worth much. Now, if they instead had a different belief, a more empowering belief back when they were 16, 17, maybe, I might not be the smartest, but if I study hard or if I get a mentor, if I put in effort, yeah, I might not be as talented, as great as some other folks, but with constant effort, I can do whatever I set my mind to. And then years later, whatever they decide to do after, high school, if they do go to college, join the military, whatever it may be, that they have this confidence now that no, I'm not the best, I'm not the brightest, I'm not the most talented, but I work the hardest. And so you see how these beliefs at a very early age completely have two different paths that a person can take. And it's all from the old noggin upstairs. So to kind of visualize or have a metaphor or analogy to help explain this, granted, it is a little bit of a labored analogy, a little, you might roll your eyes at it, but just try it out anyway. So if your life or your life is like a ship on a sailboat or a ship on the water or a pirate ship, whatever, and your beliefs are the direction that ship is going. And then, of course, there are always waves and winds, like these external forces that are moving the ship, can move the ship in different directions. Things like, like just society as a whole, your family, your friends, peers, media, social media, all these things are influencing what we think about ourselves. Then, of course, not only are these the winds, the external factors, but then there's also like these internal forces. Your self-doubt and fears and past experiences that can cause, now stay with me, like leaks on your ship, right? Like things that you didn't want to believe, but maybe you picked it up from somebody else that, cause internal conflict, internal issues, and you think that I'm not capable, I'm not good enough. So that slows your trajectory or changes the path entirely. Now, the important thing is to know that none of these things, external forces or the leaks, are permanent truths. They are fixable and within your control if you understand that you ultimately are responsible for what you believe, although it may not seem like it, with awareness, with understanding that there are external influences and that there are things that even maybe you have downloaded subconsciously that influence the trajectory or direction that you're going. And so first thing is to understand that this is possible. And that's why I bring up this goofy kind of visual, is to think about it in a different way and to understand that with awareness and with understanding that these waves and winds and leaks have a difference, you are the captain of this mental ship. You are the captain of your beliefs. And although you can't always control those outside forces, like life's challenges, you can always steer your perception. It always first starts with awareness and that responsibility. And over time, you build this skill. You can start to become aware of your mind kind of going in a different direction and thinking like, maybe I am no good. Maybe I should. Oh, there we go. And you pop back. And it's through awareness and constant kind of vigilance and reassessing where your headspace is at, as often as you can. And that becomes a skill. There was a quote, I don't know who it was by, but basically a skilled captain doesn't become skilled in easy waters, So life challenges and difficult things is what makes you better at being responsible and steering your ship in the direction that you want to go. And that ultimately, as you get more skilled, unlocks a new belief, that is self-belief, that you can make it go where you want to go. So yeah, that was basically it. And if you believe this or not, doesn't make a whole lot of difference, because even right there, that is a belief. So beliefs do influence a large part of our life. And I just want to leave on this kind of quote from Henry Ford, the dude that made the car. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. So once again, power of your beliefs, power of what you think, shape the reality that you experience. And over time, you can change this. And if you're off course, that's okay. Know that with awareness and with constant small steps, you can start to steer and take control of it in the direction you want to go. And it just starts with little steps, one day at a time. So thank you all. See you all next time.